This is Calabucas for Think Future Extra. Let's talk education. Now, education is a big stumbling block for me because I think the whole concept of our education, our 4-year degrees, the high school, the middle school, the elementary school, all of these things are broken. They've been broken because we're not creating individuals at the end of it who can move into and become valid members of society. We're just not doing it. We're failing these kids. We're failing these students. We're failing these people. We're failing the next generation. And what we need to do is we need to rethink the entire thing from scratch and look at the core of what you're getting out of education, period. What do we want out of education? Education doesn't just happen in a classroom. Education doesn't just happen in an office. Education, learning happens every minute of every day. It's not a monolithic thing that you have to spend a certain amount of time doing and then you'll get your reward and slap it on the page. That's not how education works. Education is a lifelong learning event. And it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult to determine where somebody lies in the education. What knowledge do they actually have? That's why when I talked to some of the people in my interview process, we were talking about adaptive learning. We were talking about the very first thing that you do when an individual comes into an educational institution is you test them. You see what their level of education is at that moment, and then you change the level of education based on the individual. We need to bring in adaptive learning systems at the lowest possible level. So as soon as a kid gets into elementary school, let's give them adaptive learning solutions. And we break up the concept of grades. We just move people through the educational system as quickly as they need to be moved through. Sure, we can work on some ways and innovate in the socialization space, how to keep people together, how to separate them, how to move them through the system, but we need to break up the whole time-based model. We need to break up the whole grade-based model. We need to break up the whole degree-based model. All of these things require disruption because they're just not working. Now, there's people out there who feel that they are working because it's a filtering mechanism. If you made it this far, 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 made it this far, then you deserve something. And the reality is that even if you've made it this far, there are so many ways to game the system that the reality is that people are coming out of degree programs and they don't have the basic necessity that they need to get the job done. So we need to disrupt the educational system from the ground up and look at what we need, where we need it, and how to apply technology in the right way to make it happen.